fellow creatives, today I'm going to show you a couple techniques for blending markers. I'm going to be using Copics and Prismacolor Markers today. The two techniques are going to be your usual feather technique, which I think everybody normally uses, and another technique which I have started using. I don't know anyone else who uses this. I kind of just figured it out on my own, and I thought I would share it because I think it works really nicely and it gives some great effects when you're blending. The supplies we're using are tape today. So my technique is using plastic to blend the markers. You can use any kind of plastic. Normally I use a piece of lamination. So I laminated something else and this was just a scrap that was left over. And it's really hardy, so I keep that in my marker bag. But if you don't have that, you can use just regular shipping tape. And so I took some tape and I laid it out on this piece of paper, and that's what we're going to use. Over here I wrote out a few different colors that I will blend together. Some will be explained, and then parts of it I will speed up so it's not too long, but I wanted to show a little bit of a variety. We'll start with the red and the orange. This is probably one of the easier ones to blend, so it's a good starter. Let's see the colors there. So these are both Copics, and I'm going to show you both methods, and I'll do this in real time so you can follow along, and some other parts I will speed up. I'll actually start with the feather method here. So this is the one that I think most people use. Grab your red. Now for this method, you'll push on the paper for your darkest area and then lift as you drag it across the paper, and that is the feather technique. So just make a few strokes that way. Okay. Grab your orange. Start from the other direction and lift towards the center. You can see that there. Now, using my technique, you're going to use the lightest color as your blender, and the darkest color will go down on the plastic. Take your lighter color and pick up some of the dark color from the plastic. And then work it onto the paper. So you can see it's a very gradual gradient this way. Now, dark green to light green using Prismacolor. When you're going from a very dark color to a very light color, you're going to want to use an in-between color. So this is one of those cases where having extra colors is going to be very helpful to you. I wanted to add some extra notes here because I think this is a really good example of when the plastic method might actually be better to use than the feather method. And the reason why is when you use the feather method, you're blending directly on the paper, but while you're blending, the paper is also absorbing the color. So as soon as you lay down those dark colors, the paper absorbs it, and it makes it harder to mix. On the plastic, you're mixing directly on the plastic, nothing's getting absorbed. So when you go from the plastic to the paper is absorbing a pre-mixed color. And so you're going to get a nice, better gradient with that. So on the right side, you can watch me try to blend these three colors together. The purple's been absorbed into the paper already, so now I'm going over it with medium tone, and you can still see the streaks, and the more I go over it, the more ink is getting put down on the paper, and so it starts to get blotchy. Now, one tip I would like to share is you want to be careful about bleed when doing methods like this because you're laying down a lot of ink when you're doing this, and the paper is just going to start absorbing that, and as it absorbs it, it's going to get wet, and what happens is the ink will bleed and you may end up going outside of your lines. So, for example, let's see. What you want to do is, I mixed up the colors. So be careful about bleed, and when you're coloring, start a little bit inside of the lines, because as you go over the marker, with each pass, the paper is going to absorb a little bit more of that, and it's going to start feathering out and get closer and closer to your lines. So if you started up right at the edge here and you kept trying to blend that, say with another color, you're going to start feathering outside of your lines. See that right there? So just be careful about that. Alright, I hope this was helpful to you. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and I will do my best to answer them. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you next time.